Hello guys, Moukass here. What's up? I have some things that I wanted to say since a long time, and this is the time where I freaking put it all in a video. I love PlanetSIde 2 to death. It's my favorite game since 6 years, but there is things that could be improved, and this is the most exhaustive list I could get of all the things I would like the Daybreak to implement in the game. So some things are very small, some things are quite big, but I wanted to give my humble opinion on what could be improved to make PlanetSIde 2 the coolest game in the world. In no particular order, just some things that I would like them to implement. First thing that I saw in the PlanetSIde Arena trailer is some air control for the Flash vehicle. This is one of my favorite vehicles, the funniest vehicle to use, especially with the turbo. But right now we don't have air control, but I saw that in PlanetSIde Arena you could have it. I would love this to be implemented in PlanetSIde 2 so you can do freaking tricks when you do races, freaking tricks when you jump on your enemies. And I think this will make the game much cooler. Next thing is the fireworks that I think look amazing, especially at night, but very few people are willing to give up their secondary weapon to just to get some fireworks going. I think we should have them more often, like maybe they launch randomly during fights to mark important events, like Sunderer has been taken down, Moukass has been taken down, the population balance has flipped. So please Daybreak, more fireworks, and don't make us give up our secondary to do it. So next thing that I miss since the X11 is the recursion stat tracker. I think we should have a kill counter, RST style. Each time you get a kill, you get a counter updating. So you don't have to just track the player names on top left corner. You can just have a list counting, like with the recursion stat tracker. And by the way, can someone please update this freaking software? We need the overlay to work on the X11, please. I'll give some cash for this. Next thing is about drop podding. I think it's a huge asset for PlanetSIde 2 and we should be able to drop pod more often. There's already some improvements with the recent updates. You drop pod more often when you use the join combat button, but I think it should be used much more. For example, at the end of an alert, when a faction locks a continent, you can have the choice to drop pod in a hot zone on the next continent, so the action keeps going, so there is less downtime when people switch continents. Very often when a continent locks, all the action goes down and it has to be restarted. People have to set up new spawns, get to the action, get out of the warp gate, and it often takes minutes. And honestly, I hate to wait, so I want to drop into the action and start killing people immediately. Please, Daybreak! So next thing is about the leadership tools. I think that leaders are a huge asset to the game. I love to join a random squad and hear squad leaders trying to coordinate the troops. I think you should be able to resupply your beacon if it's destroyed, maybe at the cost of nanites. You should be able to see the nanite count of the squad members. I said it hundreds of times, but it's extremely important. Please, Daybreak, I want to see how much nanites my squad members have. I want to be able to see all the platoon members on the HUD, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie and Delta if I want, so I can platoon lead better. Right now I don't like to platoon lead simply because I have no information about my platoon members on my HUD, so I don't feel connected to them. I don't feel that I have to lead them. When you only have one squad, you see everyone's names, you see if they are alive or dead, you see their classes, so you can micromanage them much more. When you have a platoon, you lose this. So for me, it's a huge no-no for platoon leading. Also, one of the reasons I don't have the NS Commander helmet that Sirius have, and that I'm jealous of. We should be able to see the names of the people talking, even when you're on the map. The squad chat, platoon chat should appear on top of the map when you're looking at it, so you can see who is saying what. Another thing about the voice callouts that have hugely improved the game is the fact that there is automatic voice callouts when players throw grenades, when people are healing, repairing. It adds to the immersion and I think we should build on that. I think players should say hello when they log in the warp gate. You should see people popping in the spawn tubes and they say hello, what's up TR, what's up Vanu. Another thing that could be done is comments on the action. For example, when you get a kill, you hear people say, got him, neutralized. Maybe if there is players around, they can answer, nice shot, bullseye. This would add to the immersion if done correctly. Of course, I totally think the NSO characters should have their own voices, robotic voices.
I'm on mission.
You could play a more satisfying sound when you get headshots. Right now you get a very slight feedback when you get hit markers. And I think it should be a bit different, more accentuated when you get headshots to add to this addictive aspect. Next thing is about the ambusher jets. I think we should be able to use them without the safe fall implant. Right now you need this implant to use the ambusher jets and I think it's restricting. Next thing is about the no deploy zones that I hate, that I freaking hate. Daybreak, please stop this. Stop this freaking no deploy zone. This should be reduced for when you want to deploy SMD. The no construction zones are way too big, they break. They should be greatly reduced for better integration with the base game. Cortium should be more available, so it's easier for ant drivers to build bases. You should have big rewards for creating spawns and construction in between bases. So the next fight after the Sandy is destroyed is the construction base, a few hundred meters away. How often do you see construction in between the crown and TI alloys? Never, because these no construction zones are huge. Right now construction is confined to very small areas and it's really pissing me off because I see wasted potential. You should be able to construct much closer to the already existing bases, and I think this would create much more open field battles that are really epic in PlanetSIde 2. I think right now we're really missing out on it. People just try to spawn the closest to the action and it creates some very repetitive fights. So please Daybreak, take advantage of the construction system. I think the ant should be able to upgrade its harvesting speed, like they upgrade their cortium capacity to be able to harvest cortium faster, since it's one of the most boring things in the game. You should have more rewards in general for deploying spawns, deploying sunderers, deploying spawns beacons, deploying routers, Elysium spawn tubes. It could also have its own directive tree to really teach people on how they could set up spawns and keep the game alive. Another thing, when playing vehicles, I think you should be able to see the reload circle of your gunner. You need to see when they reload and you need to be able to see when they hit their target. So the hit markers and the reload circle of the gunners, please Daybreak. This will greatly improve the teamwork element in vehicle play. Many bases could be improved simply by adding sunderer garages, more sunderer garages, maybe shielding some of them so they are harder to take down. After 6 years, some bases still don't have any safe spot to deploy your sunderer. I think it's extremely annoying, and that's why some fights end up so fast. Many people suggested that the garages could be more protected with the shield gate, and I agree with this idea. We should have more jumpers scattered in the map. It's one of the funniest parts of PlanetSIde 2 is jumping around from base to base or from place to place. The biolab jumpers are extremely fun. There is amazing jumpers close to the warp gate, but you never get to use them. I think we should have more of them and maybe an ability to construct them. Maybe a deployable item for the engineer to set up a small jumper, maybe a small ladder to circumvent the terrain. Another great way to improve the team play element. One thing I hate is the old school amp stations and their shield gates. You have to take down the 2 shield gates to take down the shields. And I think it's confusing many players, and there is often stalemates at these bases. I think one shield should be tied to one gate, so when you take down one shield, you're sure of taking down one gate, and it's going to create some back and forth in the battle. Also make it so you can get on this amp station, even when the shields are up. If you're light assault, maybe a window on the top. Right now there is no way to get in the amp station if you haven't taken down the shields, and I don't like when there is like a definitive things like that. We should always have a way as a light assault or as an infiltrator to get inside even without taking down the shields. Secondary objectives make the game more interesting. I love when people rush the SCU when the shields go down in a biolab fight. Speaking of biolabs, I think we should have several versions of them. Maybe some could be more at the ground level, like Hate Skydock on Hassin, the semi-destroyed biolab, or TRNBL full crash site on Samir. I think these bases are amazing because their terrain is unique. I don't like that all the biolabs are basically the same. Another thing I've been asking for since hundreds of years is a guided launcher for the heavy assault, like the Mana Heavy turret, or like the 84 launcher in Battlefield Bad Company 2. It was one of my favorite weapons, and it was creating some amazingly cool skill plays, some epic only in PlanetSIde 2 moments. So I don't understand why they haven't implemented a rocket launcher like that yet. Another thing that would make some really cool footage is a 360 view for the players in the rumble seats of the harasser. I think you should be able to see in all directions, and it will make the rumble seats more useful and fun to play. Next thing is about the player studio. I think players should be able to get their art in the game easier. It's already been done with creators creating their helmet, people putting their decals in game, but I've been trying to get the decal of my outfit NCAV since years now, since at least 2 years. I've applied and it's still not in the game. I think it should be easier for players to get their art in the game. We should have a simple process, maybe a video tutorial of a dev explaining how to get this stuff in. Right now I've been trying to figure this out for my outfit since years, and it's getting really annoying. Next thing is the ability to get a membership with PayPal. For Morocco, they don't accept Moroccan credit card for any transaction on the internet, so I have to use alternative banks. So the only thing I can use is PayPal, and I've been trying to get a membership since months, almost years now, and it's still not possible. I tried with the Steam wallet and my Moroccan WebPay card, and still haven't worked. Daybreak is losing on money right now when people want to buy stuff and want to buy membership and they just can't. Same thing with the ability to donate stuff to your friends. Maybe you can donate them some certs, donate them some items that you want, donate them some ISO to help them out, to make them want to improve and to teach them better. This could cost some Daybreak cash, and Daybreak will make more money out of it. And the last thing that I've been thinking since I've been watching the work in progress streams of the PlanetSIde 2 devs, I think they should release some kind of terrain editor open for the public, so people can create their own maps, their own continent maybe. This could create a huge variety of terrains in PlanetSIde, and other players could rate these maps, say this one is good, this one is bad. You can have a huge amount of new continent for free basically if Daybreak have this terrain editor open to the public. I thought of that after seeing how Skyrim was modified by the mods. I love Skyrim like crazy, but with the mods it's an entirely new level. And when I see the work in progress stream, I think a veteran player could also be able to build maps that have very good battle flow, that are very well designed. I don't want to undermine the work of a game developer, but I think a player that have more experience with the game could build even better maps than a developer that don't have experience with this game. This is a random idea that I put out there. I think this could greatly improve the game if we're going for long-term development and long-term game. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think of this list. What do you want to see implemented in PlanetSIde 2? I would love to know. Thank you Daybreak for the amazing game. I keep having fun after 6 years, which is very impressive. I became very demanding with my games after PlanetSIde 2. I want them to be combined arms, I want them to have tons of players, I want them to be fun, I want them to have a voice chat. And when I try a game that doesn't have that, I feel like that I'm missing out. So good job Daybreak. Please think of these ideas, and good job so far, especially with DirectX 11. Keep improving the performance, of course. This is always going to help the game. And I wish you the best, guys. Have a good day, stay epic, bye bye guys.